You've been meeting with your D&D group consistently for weeks, months, maybe even years. And then all of a sudden, nothing. One friend has a prior engagement. Another's kid is busy every Thursday. Another started taking night classes to get a degree. And while you're proud of him, on the other hand, it screwed up the schedule and on with everyone until eventually you realize that it's been months since your last session and your players' characters have been stuck in the middle of an encounter gathering dust the whole time. What do you do? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello, DMs and DM hopefuls. My name is Tanner Wayland. Welcome to How to Be a Better DM, the show for DMs who send out 1,000 texts just to make sure a few people show up at their house and don't flake out. I'm excited to have you here, and I'm excited for our topic. Real quick notice, as it were, I mentioned this in the previous episode, but we will be at FanX doing 6 different panels. I believe it's September 25th or 27th, I believe, off the top of my head. Either way, if you're in town, hope to see you. But let's get to the topic. So, as I kind of preface this, life happens, and campaigns aren't always a priority, and that's okay. But, you've put a lot of work into the campaign. You and your friends enjoy it a lot. So, do you just give it up and say, oh, it's over? Or do you just kind of think, oh, the timing isn't right, we'll wait a little bit longer? See, both of those are an issue, because if you just decide that it's over without consulting with everyone, I think that everyone deserves a little bit of closure in your group. Certainly you do, if you would like it to keep going and just suddenly ended. But conversely, if you just make the excuse, oh, the timing isn't right, we'll get it eventually, then, as many of you know, there are groups that just end like that, where it's like, oh, it's just, we'll get around to it. And then it never happens. And, dying slowly like that, like the campaign dying like that, feels anticlimactic and also lame in a certain way, because there's always that thought like, oh, could we make this work? Will it ever happen? Yada, yada. In the end, I think you need to, when you notice that things are slowing down, that you haven't met in a while, you need to take steps. You need to take actions to come up with a definitive answer, like, is this campaign dead or not? Or are we just not meeting temporarily, or do we just need to make some changes? So if you follow these following 3 steps, then you can easily find that out. Now, step number 1, you got to observe. Ask yourself, how long has it actually been? Sometimes it's been, if you've met like consistently, like every week or every other week, and then you don't meet for 2 months, it feels like the end of the world. Maybe 2 months is fine. Like, everyone's had a busy summer, a busy holiday season, and it's hard to meet. That's okay. Don't blow it out of proportion. Look at it objectively and say, is it possible that I'm just overly sensitive to a longer break because we've been so consistent? If that's the case, you can totally just keep going. On the other hand, if it's been like 4 months, 6 months, or like within a 6-month period, you've only been able to meet once, and the second time that almost happened, like, really just petered out, then that's when you need to be like, okay, it has slowed down. And you kind of need to ask yourself, why has it been hard to meet? Look through your texts, look through your Discord chat, find out, like, is there a specific reason? Because if you don't know the reason, then you got to do some sleuthing. You got to find out what's up. If you do know the reason and it's like, hey, there's a specific obstruction, then think to yourself, before the next step of communication, like, what do you realize about the situation, and what feels fixable, what feels like out of your hands, so to speak. But then once you've observed everything, gathered the data for yourself, been a little bit objective, and taken a step back, then you want to step back into your party and communicate. You want to make time to talk with each player. Ask them how busy they've been individually. Ask them if they've missed playing. Would they like to continue? Are they down to continue playing, right? Because that's an important question to ask. Like, as much as everyone gets busy, and I'm sure they'd like to do something else, I'm sure a lot of your players would also love to play again. And finding out where everyone is worthwhile. Beyond that, you need to ask about their individual situations, especially if it's someone who you know has been having the hardest time meeting up. Like, do they see their situation changing? And if it's not, is there something that you and your group could change, whether that's doing it online or changing the day or having one specific day a month, which that's always the case, rather than kind of a loosey-goosey time? Setting, like, there are multiple ways to approach it, but just communicate with them, find out their situation. And honestly, you need to ask, be like, hey, if we met without you occasionally or often and you just hopped in whenever, would that interest you? Would that make you sad? Like, you can be honest. Like, it's good to find out, especially for friendships, would they be hurt at all if things changed? It's totally worth making that effort and being direct and being like, hey, if it would bum you out, we don't have to. And then you and the other people can kind of start a separate side campaign with maybe someone else, but then keep your campaign, like the one with the friend who won't be able to meet as often, as a separate thing. You have options. But regardless, communicate, remember to put relationships first, and, try and come up with solutions. So once you've observed the situation, communicated with the people in your party about the situation, the third and final step is just to decide. Do you want to play more right now? Do you have enough interested parties? If yes, then, either make the current campaign work with some changes so that you can meet more often, or start a side campaign or whatever, right? However, if, not enough people can play, or if your interest is flagging, or it just doesn't seem like it's in the cards, then that's, no sweat off your back. Yeah, it's a good time to decide, be like, hey, maybe this is a break. This is a time when we don't need to do it, and that's okay. As we've said before, it's always fine to take a break from DMing or from D&D and come back to it, because oftentimes when you do, you have a bigger appreciation because it feels nostalgic. It's a great time. It's okay to take breaks. But if you're not feeling up to a break, or rather you really like D&D right now and you have people you want to play with, or you're willing to find new people to play with, do that too. You have options, but just decide and change how you're doing it currently. And I think that you're going to really enjoy that whole decisiveness of it all, because when I opened it up with the scenario of like, oh, it just kind of, most campaigns accidentally peter out because people get busy slowly and things just get harder to meet and stuff like that. It really is sucky when you've put a lot of work in and suddenly people just can't meet slowly and you don't even realize it, that your campaign's dying. Realize it, take action, and appreciate the clarity and the sense of purpose that comes from that. I hope that you, for anyone out there especially who's listening to this podcast and you're in that situation, I hope that this gives you the courage to try it, to try and be a little bit more purposeful with making your campaign happen, especially if it's slowed down. And I think that you'll be happier for it. At the very least, you'll have a weight off your mind. And hopefully you'll actually end up playing more because of it. I hope that you try this out. If you are struggling with that, and for the rest of you, hopefully that never comes. I expect it will, because it happens to most parties. Anyway, I really love talking with you guys. I look forward to meeting anyone that's at FanX. And until next time, let's roll initiative.